Hello, this is Gloria on Homestead Thursdays. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to say thank you to those who tuned in last week, who liked, loved, shared, and left comments. I have been very busy coming off the back end of our 5th year anniversary, and so I want to go ahead and show you some things that I've been doing in the kitchen. Let's go ahead and get right to it. All right, first I want to share with you what I did with my sourdough discard this week. I went ahead and I made sourdough pretzels. Now this is the second time I've made these. We haven't eaten any of this batch yet, but these are absolutely wonderful. I will say that when they bake up, they do get a little hard. So the way that you soften them up are you put 1 or 2 pretzels in a little foil packet, add 2 tablespoons of water, put your oven on 200 degrees, and then you just let it sit in there for 20 minutes and it will soften right up. All right, and behind it I have beer cheese. So if you were looking at my pictures yesterday, that's where the carrots and potato went. And also it's cashew based. And I let the cashews soak for well over 12 hours. So it made it good and smooth. It's very creamy. Now I will say that lots of vegan cheeses do call for potatoes and carrots to make cheese. Sometimes even turmeric or mustard seed to give it that orange color. That's what the carrot is for. The last time that I made it, I added too much carrot, so I tried not to put so much in this one, so hopefully it won't taste so much like carrot. And the beer that I used was Budweiser, and Budweiser is vegan, but not all alcohols are vegan. All right, I will serve that beer cheese warm with a little ground paprika and a little chives. This is one of my favorite recipes with my sourdough starter. All right, let me go ahead and move on to the next thing. All right, here we go. Last Friday, the day after our anniversary, I had this idea to do so much cooking, but I just didn't feel like it. So I had seen this recipe on Facebook, sweet potato Mexican quinoa, and I had gotten the ingredients that I didn't have so that I can make it. I think I had just about everything except the sweet potatoes. And so when I was not feeling like standing on my feet and cooking for hours, I said, well, let me go ahead and let this slow cooker cook for me. And that's exactly what I did. And while I was cooking, I went ahead and I made some vegan cornbread as well. So this was a very filling and hearty dish. I think the portions that we ate on Friday were too large. I just wasn't expecting it to be that filling. It involved quinoa. It had black beans and corn, I believe. It had chilies. It was just a overall veggie packed and flavorful dish. Now I'm going to go ahead and show it to you how I plated it for Mario when he will take it to work. All right, you can see I've got the label with the date. Open it up. I've sprinkled on the crumbled cornbread on top. Underneath you can see the vegan cheese. This cup is empty, but I left it there so that when it unthaws from the freezer, I can just put the sour cream right in the middle. And I won't have to add too many more toppings. I think I added raw red onions. I added green peppers, red peppers, some avocado. Just filled it up. And I'll show it from the bottom so you can see what it looks like. All right, so I will be including these recipes. It was easy, wonderful, and I love the fact that it didn't have mock meat. The sweet potatoes were excellent, and I added mango, so the mango gave it another level of sweetness that was just wonderful. I will be making this, and this dish, it turned out so much. We ate off of it twice. I was able to turn out 3 containers this size and then 3 smaller containers. So I absolutely recommend this dish. All right, let me put the lid back on. Let me go ahead and move on. Last weekend I made a couple of other dishes. This dish right here is spaghetti squash burrito bowl. All right, and this is the spaghetti squash on top, and I pulled it up so that you can see what's in it. Okay, and there are some grape tomatoes, black beans, corn. I use veggie grind. But to be truthful with you, I think this dish will be good without any type of veggie grind. All right, and there's some cheese as well. And this is another dish that you can just load up with toppings. Now, this is a low carb dish because of the spaghetti squash. And I've made this several times, maybe 2 or 3 as a vegetarian, and this is the first time as a vegan. Excellent. I always say that if you are thinking about going without meat, Mexican cuisine is always good, whether you have mock meat or not. Tacos, nachos, burritos, whatever. It's wonderful. All right, let me go ahead and talk about what's in the back. I also made another dish called Gnocchi. All right, and this is Gnocchi tomato bake. And the Gnocchi is actually made out of cauliflower. I got it from Trader Joe's. You can see a little bit of what it looks like. This was another low carb dish that was just absolutely amazing. The next time that I make it, I need to get 2 bags of the Gnocchi. All right, so that we can have a little bit more. But this is just excellent. It had reminded me of an Italian dish. Okay, and I had it with some bread and we had it with salad. And the thing about these 2 dishes is it made so much. I actually won't have to even cook this weekend because this is what we will be eating. So that's one thing that I do that helps me out. I like to make a meal that makes about 3 or 4, maybe 5, 6 servings. We can eat off of it, and then I can put the rest in containers for meal prep or for leftovers. All right, so those are 2 dishes that I made. I'm going to move right on. Now, if you were wondering what were those nuts for, I made nut butter. Down here is sunflower seed nut butter, and up here is almond nut butter. And let me tell you how I came to making these. I had about a cup of almonds that were about to go stale, so I said, well, let me go ahead and turn it into some almond butter. And then I've been making overnight oats for Mario for breakfast, and it calls for a special kind of sunflower seed nut butter, which I didn't have. So I went ahead and made some as well. Now, if you're looking at the almond butter, it is very thick, okay? Very creamy. The cashew butter, the sunflower seed butter is not so thick. It's not as smooth. When I made the sunflower seed butter, I only used a cup instead of 2 cups. So when I was turning it in the food processor, I ended up having to add a little bit of oil to get it going. I didn't want to make 2 cups and then not like it. But Mario, he likes it in his overnight oats. So next time I will make 2 cups roasted. And it should be much smoother the next time. And I actually made these before on accident. Some recipes call for raw nuts. And I remember trying to make some recipes with the nuts that I had, and they were actually roasted. And so I put it in my little blender, and it turned into nut butter because it was roasted. And I learned that you can make nut butter with raw nuts just as they are, or you can roast them just like I did. And I've been flavoring this sunflower seed nut butter right before I use it so that it can last longer. The almond butter recipe said that it can last up to 2 months in the fridge. All right, so I will include those recipes if you want to give them a try. Next, last week I had crabless cakes by Gardein. This was my second time having them. The first time I tried it with cocktail sauce, wasn't that great. This time I made this little sauce that I found on the recipe. Tasted so much better, and it was such an easy recipe that I could divide into 4ths because I didn't need a whole batch. It was just me, and so I've eaten off of it once. I still have some, and I'll tell you, the Gardein crab cakes are good. I can't tell you if they actually taste like crab cakes because I haven't had crab cakes in 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know, but that's worth a try if it's something you're interested in. All right, I'm going to move right along. Now, I had posted the picture with the little fruit juice shots, and what I used them for was to bottle my kombucha. It had been 4 weeks just about, and it was ready. Now the one in the front, this is what it looks like, plain. I tasted it a few days ago. It tastes like vinegar, and my friend says that's what it'll taste like until you flavor it. So I left a couple plain because there are some fruits that I want to try it with that I don't have. I want to try it with pineapple, and I want to try it with strawberry. So I will flavor those in a couple of days. So that's what it looks like plain. And let me show you the different flavors that I flavored it with. I flavored it with peach. Mario is a peach person, but we'll both try it. I flavored it with blueberry. I flavored it with kiwi. I flavored it with mango. I flavored it with apple. I figure Mario and I will both like apple, so I made a bigger one. I flavored it also with black cherry, which we both like as well, and I figured we'll like that one. Now this is called the second fermentation, and so it will take about 2 or 3 days, and then we will taste those, and I will report back on the taste. And I'll go ahead and I'll show you my next kombucha that I have started on. This will take about 4 weeks. I used a different type of black tea. This last one I believe was called Assam, and this one that I used this time was called Darjeeling. All right, so in 4 weeks I'll be ready to bottle and flavor that and try a different type of a kombucha tea. All right, let me go ahead and share another thing with you that I did this week. I had those peaches in that picture, and what I ended up making was peach tea. And this is very simple to do. You took 3 peaches and you put it in a pot with some water, sugar, and I use monk fruit to make it low carb. All right, and then you let it boil, mashed it down, let it sit for 30 minutes. You strained it, and then you made 6 cups of black tea, and you let that cool in the fridge. You combine them, and then you serve it chilled. That was it. Now, I'm not a big peach fan, so I did not like this as much as Mario did, okay? But he loves it. So I'm going to try to make it again for him while we still have peaches in season. But you can use this recipe to make other fruit juices. Raspberry, blueberry, the recipe above it, they had listed a couple of others, sorry about that, which I plan on trying as well. All right, so let me move on. I've got 2 more things I want to share with you. All right, some vegan chocolates. Justin's dark chocolate peanut butter cups. They're okay, but you have to like dark chocolate. Unreal, those are dark chocolate peanut butter cups. They're dark, but not as dark as Justin's. I like those better. Simple Truth has this matcha tea, white chocolate, okay, and it is good. They also have one that's a dark chocolate with almonds. It's very bitter, but it's good as well. And then we also eat this Laura's hemp chocolates, and it has cranberry in it, so that gives it a little bit of sweetness. All right, so those are a couple of chocolate options. If you look for dark chocolate, that should normally be okay. You just have to read the label to make sure it doesn't have milk. And lastly, I'm just going to show you a few snacks that we have started to eat that are plant-based. All right, back to nature. They have plant-based snacks. This right here is peanut butter cream cookies. We have also tried their chocolate chip ones. They have some chewy ones that I want to try. I believe Back to Nature has crackers. They have granola. I got that from Kroger, but I believe you can get it from Whole Foods. They just have a lot of options. Nature's Bakery is another. Okay, this is a brownie, but they also have figs that are really good. We've tried the apricot. We've tried strawberry. We've tried apple cinnamon, blueberry. They have some oat bars as well. Very good. I also got those from Kroger. And then if you look up Belvita, they have some options as well. Some of theirs have milk or egg, but then they've got some that don't. All right, so those are just a few snacks. And at another point, I will share some everyday snacks that maybe you didn't know were accidentally vegan. All right, so that's me, Gloria, on Homestead Thursdays. This episode was a little long. I have been very, very busy in the kitchen. I wanted to share things with you. Be sure to like, love, leave comments, ask questions, share the video, and I will see you next week. Shalom.